So today is Wednesday, the 8th of December, and I had my MRI done today. It wasn't the most pleasant of experiences. I had to go in and like lie down on my front, and the way that the bed was set up was so that my stomach was sitting like on a raised slope. Then there was this big thick chunk of plastic, and I had to put like a boob down either side of that, so it was like digging right in the middle of my chest, and then both my boobs were like clamped, and then I had obviously my arms above my head and my face in a pillow while they'd done it. They injected me with dye again, like the CT, and it felt like it went on forever. Chris said it was about an hour it took, and man, it felt like it. Um, like I come home and had to take painkillers straight away. I feel like a bit spaced out now. Just because my back is so sore from it, from lying in the position that it was, like across the bottom of my back is killing me. Whenever I woke up this morning, I already had like a lot of pain going down my left leg. Like it felt like it's in the bone kind of pain. So I'd taken two painkillers then. I'd get up, got myself together and ready and stuff, and then I took diazepam before I went in, just because I was concerned about like freaking out or whatever, being like stuck in such a wee small tight tube. I didn't realise I would be like facing down with both my boobs being clamped and everything. Um the positioning and stuff that I was in was like the most painful, and then because I was in there so long, the noise, like it's a really, really noisy machine. They put like headphones on you that has music playing, but the music's so low that you can't even hear it over the top of like the clattering and banging and stuff of the machine. But it was just going on for so long that now like I kind of understand why like prisoners of war would have got tortured with noise, because it was going on so long, it was starting to make me feel sick and dizzy and everything. Um I asked the radiographer, I think it's radiographers that do those scans, how long it would take for the results, and they said it's usually about 3 days. So I'm hoping by next week that the team looking after me will have gotten contact, and then I'll know more. I'll know like how bad it is, if it's spread, what the treatment plan and stuff is. I'm kind of hoping that surgery will come first, just because of the time of year, and if it's happening before, if I'm lucky enough to have it happen before Christmas, then I would much rather be in pain over Christmas and have like pain medication I can take to keep it at bay than have started chemo and being really sick over Christmas, you know? That's what I'm hoping for. And obviously, that it hasn't like spread elsewhere through my body. Um Whenever I was in the waiting room, I ended up crying because again everything felt very real. Feels like I just about get my head back in shape where I'm fine, and I can like, obviously I'm having wobbles here and there, but I'm fine. I'm coping okay, and then I have to go for a scan, and as soon as I get to the hospital, it all kicks back in, and it's like very hyper real. So that happened again today. Um, Now I'm just like crippled with back pain and stuff like that. So uncomfortable. Not so much. Well, it was uncomfortable, obviously, lying with my boob in like or my boobs in two vices, and the position I was in was quite uncomfortable. But it was more whenever I stood up, it was like I felt like a 90-year-old woman, like creaking my way back up. And after that, it was just so sore. But again, I've taken like pain medication now. I feel really spaced out with it, but the pain's not so bad, so that's one thing. I have been asked in comments and stuff to discuss like when I found the lump, what it felt like, had I any pre-existing medical conditions and things like that, and I'm gonna do that in tomorrow's vlog. Well, that's the plans anyway, because again, at the minute, I just wanted to give you guys an update on like what happened at the MRI, how it went. If you're someone that's waiting on this, then what do you expect going in yourself? Um, that's basically what the MRI experience was for me. a lot more uncomfortable than the CT, but it's done and over me now. And as I say, like, hopefully I'll know by next week what's going on. And then from what the support groups and stuff that have joined, they've said that this is the worst part of everything. As soon as you know, like, how bad it is and what treatment you're gonna have, and the ball's rolling on it, then you've got something to concentrate on rather than everything being just so up in the air at the minute. And like, all of the not knowing is the hardest bit, apparently. And I can definitely say it doesn't feel like things could get any harder than they are at the minute. Um, so yeah, tomorrow we'll be sitting having a chat about just everything that was asked. I've been asked to speak about. As for emotions and stuff like that, I think I've already covered that so far today. It's just seeming to be all right of wobbles here and there until an appointment comes up, and then I turn into a bit of a wreck again. Definitely been quite emotional today in the waiting room, and then whenever I've got home and stuff like that, I felt quite emotional and all over the place. But hopefully all this waiting's coming to an end now, and all I can do is pray that the findings are better rather than not so good. Um, Someone had actually commented saying, like, something along the lines of it, like, it really annoyed them that I was sitting swearing while asking for prayer. I don't think God is too concerned about the horrified swear words that you use when you find out that you have a life-threatening disease. So, to that person, unless you've been in my shoes, save your judgment. If you're a Christian, what's worse, me swearing, or you judging me for it? Because I do believe the Bible says that only God can judge. Anyway, please, again, positive vibe prayers. Thank you again to everyone that comments. I know that I don't like write back to everybody individually, but I read every comment, every single one, and you've no idea how much it means to me knowing that strangers from all around the world are taking time out of their day to wish me well. Time is all people have, you know? So even if you give me a minute of yours, it means the world to me. I really do appreciate it. But anywho, until tomorrow, um, I guess I'll catch you then. I'm gonna go, like, lie down. I feel woozy and sore. So, and a wee bit sick. But again, thank you, and I will catch you all tomorrow. So today is Friday the 10th of December. Um I know I had a couple of days break. I said that I would vlog every day, but I don't, some days I just don't have anything to say. So that's why it's sort of here, there, and everywhere at the minute, but I'm still putting out weekly vlogs. What someone had asked in the comments to talk about when I found this lump and what it felt like and everything. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I know that it was back in 2019 because I've checked with my doctor. Um, I think that I first felt this lump in my boob in the shower whenever I was getting washed, and it was like an egg shaped lump underneath my nipple, and I was like, that's really odd. Um, I had previously found a lump in my armpit. It was a few years previous to that. So I went to the doctor. They sent me straight to the breast clinic. I went and had it seen to, and it was nothing. Um, it was nothing at all. But whenever I felt this, I got pretty concerned. The doctor had told me, obviously, if you go in to get checked for a lump, whether it be in your armpit, your boob, anywhere, the doctor will examine both your boobs as well as your armpits and stuff. And he had commented that I have actually quite lumpy boobs, but apparently that's normal in like young women to have like lumpy, dense boobs. But whenever I first felt this lump, I knew that it wasn't right. I hadn't noticed it before. It was just there. So I got in contact with my doctor and went for an appointment. Um, the doctor had examined me and stuff and said that they must have maybe been going off the previous experience I had with a lump in my armpit. They were like, look, it could be hormonal. Just if it doesn't go away in a month's time, then come back to us. Just phone up. You don't even need to see me. Just phone up and we'll get you referred to the breast clinic. So a month had went by, maybe 2 months in fact I'd left it, and there was still no change. So I phoned up, explained to the receptionist that the doctor had told me if it hadn't gone away within a month, then they would just refer me instantly and I didn't need to see or speak to the doctor again. It could be done through reception. So they said, okay, they would get on it. And I just never heard anything back from them. And it was one of those things that just went out of my mind at first. Then the pandemic hit and everything was up in the air. No one was allowed out of their houses. The hospitals were overwhelmed. And actually, like, I didn't think that I would even be able to be seen because of the way that the hospitals were and the pandemic was. But I had so much more on my mind at that stage. A bit of background. Just over 3 years ago, I think it's the 21st of September past 3 years ago, my husband's dad passed away of cancer. He found out in that June. He was given 3 months to live and he lasted exactly 3 months. Not long after he passed away, I think it was the November, my mum then found out that she had lung cancer. So when the pandemic and everything like that hit, my concern and thoughts were on my mum because she had lung cancer. Her chest was so bad. There was just a lot of life stuff going on, as I'm sure everyone understands, because it's not, like just a UK thing or a Northern Ireland thing. This is a worldwide thing. Everyone has had fears and concerns with the pandemic. So between dealing with grief at the loss of, like, obviously my father-in-law, like that really took an impact on the family, and watching my husband suffer, then to being coming out the back of that and being hit straight up the teeth with them, my mum having cancer. There was just a lot going on in my mind. So the pandemic hit. I didn't think anything more of it. Then over the past sort of 3-4 months, I'm like, I need to see about this. Like, but things happen in life. You forget. It goes to the back of your mind. Other stuff is going on. Then it was actually the death of Sarah Harding. She was, if you're not from the UK, she was a member of Girls Aloud. Whenever news broke about her death from breast cancer, I was like, shit, I really need to get this lump seen to. So that's whenever I pushed to get back to the doctor. Whenever I went to the doctor, like they're not, I know that they're not meaning to frighten you, but they were using words like sizable mass and a red flag appointment and stuff. So immediately, like, my mind went into overdrive. I went crazy. And obviously I thought it would only be, the doctor had said, I'm referring you to the breast clinic now. You should hear back within 2 weeks. So I thought, I'll be seen within 2 weeks, but apparently not. 2 weeks came and went. I phoned the hospital and they said that there was a 5-week waiting list. So for 5 weeks, I was freaking out just at like the words used. I think it was more the doctor was trying to let me know that it is a serious thing and not to be skipping out on the breast clinic appointment, which I was never going to, but some people might, so that's obviously why they said that the things that they did. Then obviously I went in to the breast clinic. I've already covered this, I think, in previous videos about what they done. I knew there was something wrong from the ultrasound because it took so long. But just took cells from my lymph node. They have an on-site pathologist that can look at that straight away. That's why I was diagnosed on the day. And then whenever they done the biopsies of the actual lump, that took a wee bit longer to come back because it had to be done off-site. But that's how I ended up getting diagnosed on the day, because they had found cancer cells in my lymph node. Um, as Speaking in terms of the lump, because I'd also been asked, did I notice any change or whatever? I haven't really. It maybe got a wee bit bigger, but it has always felt the same to me. It's always just felt the same, which I suppose is a good thing. They've already told me it's grade 1, so that means it's slow growing. But that's all really that I can say. I've also had some people ask in the comments, they've mentioned, they felt something different and they weren't quite sure and should they see a doctor. There's no question, ever. Always see a doctor. You're never wasting a doctor's time. If you feel anything or you notice anything different at all, go to the doctor. They're never going to tell you, flip me, bothering me with this. They're never going to say that to you. They will always be happy that you came. And what's the worst that can happen? You went to the doctor, wasted a wee bit of time, and there's nothing wrong with you. Or you could go to the doctor and have caught something early, and it's given you the best possible fighting chance. It's never a waste of time, not whenever it comes to your health. I just feel so stupid looking back. Like, I should have moved quicker. It shouldn't have been at the back of my mind. But hindsight, if we lived our lives with the knowledge that we had today, going back, we all would live very different lives. It's whenever these things come to light, then you realise all the mistakes and stuff that you've made along the way. But it doesn't matter. It's just how it is. So there's no point in looking back, and no one has a time machine, so there's no point in sitting stressing over what could have been. This is how it is. This is the way it is. It's how it's going to be, and you just have to deal with what you're given right now. But if you think that there's anything wrong, and I mean, you don't even have to feel like a lump in your chest. If there's any change in your nipple, if it starts to invert in any kind of way, if you see any dimpling on your boobs, and never forget, whenever I'm telling people, please check yourself, it's not just your boobs. You need to go up into your armpits. Check. It's such a simple check. Such a simple check. Think of the things that you spend 5 minutes on now that mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. It only takes you a couple of minutes once a month to do it. You'll get to know your body and what's normal and what's not. But again, if you have any concerns, get yourself to the doctor. That's what's most important. Another thing that I wanted to say as well, if anyone has any questions at all, or you want me to talk about anything in particular, let me know in the comments. I am more than happy to talk to you about whatever you want to ask. I'm trying my best to be as much of an open book in this as I possibly can, because that's the point of making these videos, What breaks my heart is to see the comments that so many other people are going through the same thing. Oh God, one momento. Phone. The phone call that I just got was from my Macmillan nurse. I had phoned and left a message for her. It was just to ask about applying for a Macmillan grant, just to see whether I needed to apply for it or she needed to apply for it, because it was a wee bit wishy-washy what I'd read up online. And then I'd asked, had they heard anything back from my MRI? And she was surprised that the radiographer hadn't got in touch with me yet. But she said they had the results back and they want to see me on Tuesday and also Wednesday. And not to be worrying. And I just asked her, so it hasn't spread then? And she said, well, I'm not really meant to tell you this, but no. It's the best. the best news. And all the prayers have worked. I don't know, like she said, she would explain why she wanted to see me on Wednesday as well whenever I'm there on Tuesday, but thank God. Thank God. Everything looks clear. I don't know that I'm crying, but it's like a weight has been lifted off me. And I also feel terrible for all the people who don't get that news. Prayer does work. It does. God, I just feel lighter. And she said to me, you know, you still have cancer, and I'm like, it doesn't matter, it's not all through me. I feel like now I've got a bit of fight in me. Now that I'm not having to worry about these pains I've been getting constantly in my back and my hip, that it is probably just sciatica. I've never been so thankful for sciatica in my entire life. Every time you see me, I'm crying. But this time it's for good reasons. I'm going to end this here because I'm a bit lost for words and I need to phone like my mum and family members to let them know, because it'll be like lifting a weight off their shoulders as well. And especially since my mum's a cancer patient herself, you know what I mean? She doesn't need to carry around the weight of her cancer plus her daughter's at the same time. So at least a good bit of news will be nice to have. I am just so unbelievably thankful. Still going to be like a really rough journey. I'm still going to need surgery and chemo and everything, but it is so much better than what it could have been. Right. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. And I just feel so light. I bet you never thought you'd ever in your entire life think you'd hear a cancer patient saying that they feel so light. Even though they've got cancer, it's like a weight has been lifted. A massive weight has been lifted. Right, guys, until tomorrow, I will catch you all then. So, today is Sunday, the 12th of December, and I know that I'd left the last video off on like a real happy note on sort of getting some decent news back. And today I'd planned to try and do, you know, a more upbeat, happy video of like showing you what was in my wee hospital toiletry bag and stuff, but other stuff has happened since. Stupidly, I haven't had my result back whether I'm HER2 positive or negative yet. So last night I couldn't sleep and this idiot started Googling. So that panicked me, finding out that HER2 positive is bad. Like it's a much worse prognosis than negative. Then I started panicking about that, and then I was looking into chemo and stuff like that and what to expect, which has terrified me. And then today again, I'm like a mess. I think the fact that the nurse told me that they are going to want to see me, I still don't have a time, so I'm thinking that they'll phone me tomorrow with a time. They want to see me on Tuesday and then again on Wednesday. And she said that she would explain on Tuesday why they needed to see me on Wednesday. Has my cogs on overdrive about why. If any of you guys know why, like if that's what has happened to you on your personal cancer journey, please let me know in the comments. But that's obviously why I know that like from what she said, my scans are clear, so it hasn't spread through my body. But the double appointment and then plus me being, you know, idiot and Googling stuff had me like in tears again this morning. I know that if it's positive, then it's more aggressive, which is obviously worrying. Can't it had said somewhere along the lines it will spread quicker, whereas if it's negative, HER2 negative, then it doesn't. My mind's in a million different places because they told me it was grade 1, the actual tumour in my boob. So that means it's slow growing, but it has already spread the lymph nodes in my armpit. They said the two of the lymph nodes were concerning looking, so I would need like there. I don't know what my treatment is yet because they needed to wait on the scans and stuff coming back. But I know that surgery and chemo, both of those things are on the cards. Um, I have always been terrified of general anesthetic. Whenever I'd found out this diagnosis at first, I'm like, I don't care. Not like I do not care. Take both my boobs off, give me as much chemo as you want. But I think now that the like cold, hard light of day is kicking in, fears are coming in as well. I'm like terrified of general anesthetics. I've only ever been under general anesthetic once. Um, I was in hospital for 3 months with a stomach condition that I have. And they had to put me under general anesthetic to like put a camera down and get some biopsies or whatever they were doing to me. And that terrified me. Then at that time, they thought that they were going to have to do like major open surgery, which would be cutting me basically like from my sternum the whole way down, opening me up and removing the bottom part of my stomach and the top of my intestine, and then rejoining them because it's the pipe, your duodenum, which is your pipe that leads out of the stomach. Just mine seals shut, so it doesn't allow food to pass through. It causes chronic pain, sickness, the works. Whenever I went into hospital for those 3 months, I had lost 3 stone in the space of 6 weeks, and I'm 5'8", and I was down to 6 stone. So I looked emaciated. I was just bones. Um, I was actually rushed into hospital whenever they took me in because they thought that I was going into organ failure. I just collapsed. I couldn't move. I couldn't really speak. I couldn't do anything. They thought I was going to die. That's again why they'd kept me in for like the 3 months, because they needed to get my BMI up to at least 18. Then they were talking about doing this major surgery and stuff, and it didn't go ahead anyway, and I don't want it now anyway, even though that offer has been on the table, because they said that they can't guarantee that it won't stop the chronic pain that I'm getting, but the surgery is life threatening. So to me, being a mum, it's not worth it. I can deal with pain, you know what I mean? What I can't deal with is dying and leaving my daughter without a mum. Um, Even though I know that I need this surgery, I'm still full of fear of general anesthetic and the fact that I just mightn't ever wake up from it. And I know that that's very, very rare, a very rare thing to happen, but it scares me. And then also, like, reading all that stuff about chemo and that last night, it was just, I don't, like, that's the thing. I don't care about losing my hair. I don't. It's just, it's aesthetics, you know what I mean? It doesn't bother me. Obviously, I may feel completely different at the time. Like, if I was to have, like, a mastectomy and lose all my hair, then I might feel different at that time. Like, oh god, one of my boobs is completely gone. I know you can have reconstruction and stuff, but it'll never be the same. And whenever, or if I do lose all my hair, I might be just in my head and I know it's totally fine, but then it could break my heart as well. But just reading into chemo and what it does to you, and it gets into every single cell in your body, is just terrifying. But these things, I feel like I don't have a choice in the matter, because it's either that or else leave yourself open to the possibility of dying because of all this. And it's just the fact to have that, like, why do they need to see me 2 days in a row? Are they going to tell me something bad and I have some kind of decision to make and they're going to give me 24 hours to do it? Or please don't get me wrong. I feel so unbelievably grateful that it hasn't spread through my body. And I thought that knowing that would take away any fears and stuff that I have, and I could just like put on my helmet and get to war. And it just doesn't. I'm just still filled with so many questions and concerns. And as well, whenever I got that news on the phone, whenever I had to like sort of take a break in the middle of making my last video, I got the most unbelievable dose of survivor guilt. Because there's a lot of people that don't get that news. You know? I don't know, I'm not a survivor at the minute. I still have cancer. There's still like a real long journey in front of me that I'm sure will be painful, and I'll be sick and it'll be a struggle and a nightmare. But there's some people don't get that news, and it's not fair. I just feel like hopefully once I get these 2 appointments over me and the not knowing has stopped and I know what's going to happen and how, like, the extent of everything, and that I might then be able to just pull myself together and buckle up. But it's just the not knowing. If any of you guys have had chemo, tell me your experiences. Like, tell me what to expect in the comments. I would greatly appreciate that. Tell me how you found it. What was the worst part? Is there anything that I can do to prepare? Because I would rather that you guys tell me, because I don't ever want to go near Google again, because that is just, it's like a car crash. You know that it's going to be horrifying to look at, but you do it anyway, which is so stupid. Like, the nurses even told me, don't Google anything. And of course, like at the last hurdle, I Google stuff and scare the shit out of myself. But tell me about your experiences. And tips and tricks, and there's hacks to everything in life, you know what I mean? So I would like to know them. Tell me if you had the results that I had. So I'm positive for both female hormones in this cancer, but at the time they didn't know whether it was HER2 positive or negative. If you have had that, tell me how things were handled. I don't know whether to expect surgery first or chemo first. They told me that that's what the scans would show, whether they were needing to do chemotherapy first to shrink stuff or just do surgery and the chemotherapy after. I prefer to get the surgery out of the way first, especially if it's going to be happening before Christmas, because I would rather be in pain and able to take painkillers or something over Christmas than being sick and tired and ill with chemotherapy. What, just your experiences of treatment, like what your prognosis was, what type of cancer you had, and things that you did to make it easier on yourself. One thing that I will say is God is very, very real, and he listens to all your prayers, and that's why I'm convinced that's why this looks like it hasn't spread through my body. So thank you so, so, so much from the bottom of my heart. I believe in God. I know a lot of you've said is like you're not 100% sure whether it's like me calling for prayer and positive vibes and stuff like that, whether I actually believe in God or not. Of course I do. I have for many, many, many years. He's carried me through some of the hardest times that I've ever faced in life, and this is definitely probably topped them all. But I know that it's only by his hand that this has not spread, which I'm so thankful for. Do not get me wrong. But it's not like I can like fully just breathe out now and breathe a sigh of relief, because there's still a really long road ahead. And what happens if chemo doesn't work? Because it doesn't work for some people. I'm hoping, like, as soon as I get Tuesday and Wednesday over me and I find out, obviously, continually, I've told you guys from the very beginning that I'll be documenting this entire journey for however long it takes. But I want to throw in some, like, more fun videos like I'd planned to do for today. I thought, I'm going to show you what I've packed in my wee hospital toiletry bag, because I've treated myself to some things, and I just find that maybe, like, this, me, like, speaking about this is maybe just slightly more important than that right now. I can do that in another video if you guys are interested in seeing it. Let me know. Again, just, I want to thank you all so much for the prayers, the good vibes, just being here and talking to me. I read every single comment and they all mean the absolute world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, if you would like this video, share it, just to try and push it. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's to try and push this whole vlog series out to someone that might need to see it. You know? As I'm sure you know, because I certainly do, getting this diagnosis is the most isolating thing in the world. So if there's somebody else out there that is going through the same thing, then maybe they won't feel just as alone. Because I'm with you. 100%. Right, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their weekends. And I will be back next week. I upload every Sunday at 6. So hopefully next Sunday will be an entire happy vlog with good outcomes from both of these appointments, and a treatment plan in place, and knowing when I'm going to start and all of that good stuff. Hopefully then it'll just lift the burden off my shoulders a wee bit, because I know God never gives you anything too heavy that you can't carry, but I'm feeling like I'm starting to buckle a wee bit under the weight. But anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love yous all. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'll talk to you next Sunday.